All right, so you have a G37 and your alternator just went out. So what do you do now? All right, let me put this all back together real quick so it can give you a better representation of what you need to do. So first off is disconnect the battery. All right, as you see right there, it's disconnected. Second thing you want to do, you want to rip this fucking stupid ass air filter out. All right, and to do that, you unscrew this. It's either an 8mm or a flathead, and then you unconnect this with some pliers, and then you also just rip it out because there's going to be something right there that holds it in pretty nice. But all you got to do is just rip it out. There might be a screw right here too. And then the next thing you want to do is pull out this coolant housing, which it's just two 10mm right here, and then you should be able to just rip it right out, and also take off the recycler hose. And then the next thing you want to do, get this dumbass radiator fan off. Again, two 10mm, one right here underneath that 10mm, and then there's also another one right here. And then after that, you disconnect this connector, and you pretty much just pull up, and then you move it diagonally to where, so the radiators the radiator fans are like this. You pull up, and then you rotate it diagonally like that, and then push it under in order to get it out. And then as you can see, the alternator's right there. But first, you have to pull the tensioner, which the tensioner is right here. You pretty much just grab your 3/8 end of a ratchet. I'm using a torque wrench because I don't got a fucking ratchet on me, just regular size. Yeah, you pretty much just put that right up to there. You pull it to the loosening side so it loosens the tension on the belt, and then you put something right here in place in that little hole. If it focuses, I don't think it's ever going to focus. All right, it doesn't focus. Let's see here. But yeah, there's an Allen key wrench inside these two holes. You pretty much just line up those two holes after pulling it, and then put something in there in order to hold the tensioner in place. And then from there, you can pull off the belt. And then after that, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, around 6 bolts holding in the alternator. All right. There's 3 main ones holding it in itself, and then there's 2 bolts that hold in a wire holder, and also a bolt that holds in the power supply. So going underneath, you can see these 2 bolts right here. They're going to be 12mm. You take those out. I already did all the hard work. This is the new alternator in place. I've actually had to replace this. This is the second time because I'm using remanufactured ones. But yeah, and then you unplug these connectors. And then there's going to be 2 8mm back here holding in a plate that is a wire holder. You're going to want to take that out too. And then there's going to be a 12mm holding in the power supply right there. And then the one that cooked me, the one that's terrible to get to, is the one that is hidden by the tensioner. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it at all, but I might be able to get a better look at it from the bottom. But pretty much once you move the tensioner, there's going to be a 14mm bolt right here. And mine ended up fucking stripping. So I had to get a 14mm extractor in order to get it out. It's kind of hard to see, but that top bolt right here is a 14mm, and it's hidden by the tensioner, so you have to move the tensioner in order to even get this out. And it's also a long ass bolt, so if you still have the radiator fan in, you can get it out, but you're not going to be able to pull the bolt all the way out. And then from there, you just wiggle that out and then push it through these hoses into this area right here, and then just pull it out through the bottom, and then just put it back in with the new one. And then just do everything in reverse pretty much. Just start by putting it in. What I did was I put the top bolt in place in there so it would hold it in place, and then I got the 2 bottom bolts in, and then I loosened the 2 bottom bolts so that I could properly get the top 3rd bolt in. And then that's when I started reconnecting all the connectors. Reconnected this one. I also had to rewire this connector because it ended up breaking off. They end up being really brittle. But I connected the 2 oil connectors on the bottom, and then also the alternator connector, and then the power supply. So all there is left to do now is get the serpentine belt back on, reconnect everything, make sure the battery's all charged up, and see if this alternator works. But yeah, that's how you replace an alternator in this tight G37 bay. All right, and in order to get the serpentine belt in, pretty much all you do is just look up the serpentine belt diagram. This one's pretty simple because it's a tensioner serpentine. So you pretty much just pull that tensioner, make sure it's pulled. You start it off wherever, and then you just follow the diagram through until it goes all the way through all of them. And then you slowly release the tensioner as it tensions the serpentine belt to the proper spec, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the serpentine. It's pretty self-explanatory. I never did one before, and I ended up making it work first try, so it should be pretty simple to you guys. All right, that serpentine belt is back on correctly. It is moving in the correct directions. I haven't pulled the tensioner belt yet to tension it though. I just wanted to show you how it looks from here. So pretty much you start from the compressor, you go up over this pulley, across the tensioner, onto this pulley, and then you drag it down to the alternator, pull it back up through this pulley, but you want to go through the top side of that pulley, all right? And then go through the bottom side of this pulley, wrap it around here, wrap it around in this entire pulley right here, and then you want to wrap it around this one, and then finally come back to the compressor, and then you should be able to just put it all back in, and then reset the tensioner, and it should be good. All right, and after you got the serpentine belt done, you're gonna want to get this stupid radiator fan in there. And pretty much just put it back in how I said. You put it in from bottom, and you want to go at an angle from this way. Normally it sits like this. You want to go at like this. There's going to be 2 hoses on this side. You're going to want to wrap it around those and bring it up, and then you'll be able to bring it around this hose on this side, and then you should be able to just push it all the way up, put it in the insert, and then just put the 2 10 mils, reconnect the connector right here, and then just put your coolant hose or coolant reservoir back, your air filter back, make sure your battery's charged, and try to start it up. All right, guys, and here's it put all back together except for this area over here, of course, just in case I need to get to the battery again. But it's been idling now for around 5 to 10 minutes, and it doesn't seem like it's choking out at all. Yeah, we just had to pretty much jump start it because the alternator drained the battery entirely, and this is a brand new fucking battery. I literally got it yesterday. Because I had previously replaced the alternator, and then I was replacing the battery as a precautionary thing because the old battery was definitely drained and it was 2 years old, so I might as well just replace it. Replaced it, it ran for about 30 minutes and then choked out, so I guess we'll just have to see. But yeah, this is it all put together. It's idling at around 600 to 700. It's not doing anything crazy. Yeah, it's right at 600 idling. But yeah, I mean, the first time doing the alternator, it took a long ass time. But the second time around, I already knew how to do everything. So this probably took around like 4 or 5 hours, I would say. And I had to take a trip to the parts store in order to get the old one replaced. But yeah, it's running fine right now. I don't give any updates if it shuts off at all, if it keeps running after like the next day. But yeah, one other thing that I that I want to like point out on the alternator side of this is that connector on the alternator, it loves to break. Mine broke off onto the old alternator, so I had to rewire a new one onto there. And the wiring for that is pretty much so if you look at it, you put the connector right here, and the tab that you push down to take it out is facing up. It goes from green to purple to pink or white. All right, and you wire it in that order specifically on the pins. And technically it's pin 2, 3, and 4 because the first pin there's no wiring for it. But yeah, I had to replace that. And then after the second alternator, I'm guessing this thing might be fine. But yeah, if you really just don't want to deal with taking the alternator out multiple times, I suggest not going for a remanufactured one and going for the actual suggested one. I just went for the remanufactured because it was like half the fucking price, but I had to do double the work. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll give any updates if it chokes out on me or if it stays alive. Alright, it's now been around 50 minutes to an hour of idling. It still seems like everything's running perfect. It hasn't choked out once. I haven't had to jump it again. Still idling at 600 RPMs. Seems like everything's pretty much intact here. I know I do have a big ass power steering leak, and I think that's what started all of it. The power steering leak, as you can see, it's just all over the fucking engine bay. I'm pretty sure it made the alternator go bad, and combined with the alternator being really old. But pretty much there was just hella power steering corrosion on there, so that's the next thing I'm gonna have to figure out is the power steering leak. But it's been idling for around an hour now. It's perfectly fine. I'm gonna take it for like a little test drive, and I'll let you know if it chokes out or if it is all fine. And if you don't hear anything back, it probably was all fine. And that's how you replace an alternator on your shitty G37 that likes to shit out on you every 3 to 4 months. All right? Oh, these are reliable. These are reliable. Fuck you. I've had to replace every goddamn part in this engine bay, bro. Hey, but it's running, though. It's running, though. It's running, though. But in conclusion, fuck Infiniti and fuck Nissan for this small ass engine bay to work on. All right, I get that it's a sports car. All right, I get that, and I get that it looks nice. All right, but you should not have to take out the entire front of the vehicle in order to service it. All right. Other than that, this vehicle is great. All right, it is amazing. All right, but yeah, that's how you do the most complicated alternator replacement of all time, while being uncertified to do anything I just did. I am a lube technician, by the way. Anyway, that's all for me. Fuck Infiniti.